It started with a sound. Not loud, not sudden, just the low, steady hum of the dryer and the faint shift of his weight as he moved behind me. And in that quiet, something inside me tilted. You don't expect your whole life to shift in a laundry room. But that night, it did. His name was Lucas. He'd been a friend of my husband's for years. Handy, polite, the kind of guy who brought over ribs for summer cookouts and stayed late to help clean up. My husband trusted him. So did I in the beginning. He wasn't just around for holidays anymore. Lately, he came by often. Said he was helping fix the garage door, tightening hinges, patching things up. But over time, it felt like he was fixing more than just hardware, like he was filling a space that had been hollow for years. That night, he was just supposed to drop off a part. The rain had started around 6, tapping the windows and running down the driveway in sheets. He stepped into the mudroom, soaked and breathless, towel slung over his shoulder. I remember how his shirt clung to him, how he smelled faintly of cedar and fresh rain. I was holding a basket of damp laundry, standing in front of the dryer, and I didn't turn around when he came in. I should have, but I didn't. He asked if I needed help lifting the basket, and I said no. Still, he didn't walk away. I could feel him behind me, close enough that the heat from his skin mingled with the warmth of the dryer. My breath caught when I realized his hand had moved, slow, certain, under the hem of my sweatshirt. I didn't speak his name, just gripped the edge of the shelf above the detergent. His breath was uneven against my neck, and I felt his body lean into mine. The bulb overhead flickered like it couldn't decide if it should watch. He didn't speak. Not then. He just watched me, waiting for a word, a move, something. I nodded once, barely, and his hand pressed firmer at my side. I should have stepped forward. I should have said this was a mistake. But my body didn't move the way my mind told it to. The vibration from the dryer pulsed through my lower back, up my spine, until my knees trembled. I should have stopped him when his hand skimmed over the old scar near my ribs and paused there, like he remembered how I got it. But I didn't stop him. I didn't want to. It happened so long since anyone had touched me without a hint of obligation. My husband, Mark, was still in the house, upstairs on a work call. Probably hadn't noticed I'd been gone from the kitchen. Probably wouldn't have noticed if I never came back. Lucas kissed me, not hard, but deeply, like the kind of kiss that's been sitting in someone's chest for too long. He leaned into me slowly, his hips testing that last edge of resistance. My body answered before I could even think. It wasn't hunger. It was surrender. I reached up, not to hold him, but to brace myself. The detergent bottles clattered softly behind me. One of my socks slid off and caught on the cabinet handle. Afterward, he didn't speak right away. Just pulled away gently, forehead resting against mine, the buzz of the dryer filling the silence. He buttoned his jeans with shaky fingers. I smoothed my shirt down without looking at him. I didn't know what to say. There wasn't a word big enough to hold the weight of what we'd just done. He finally whispered, "You were just there and I needed someone to see me." Then he left. The next morning, Mark didn't notice anything was different. He sat across from me at the breakfast table, phone in one hand, coffee in the other. He talked about a scheduling mix-up at work, wore the same shirt he had yesterday. I forgot to make the eggs, and he didn't even blink. Lucas didn't come back for a week. But when he did, everything was different. He avoided eye contact. He wore a baseball cap he never used to wear, didn't take it off when he stepped inside. Said he couldn't stay long. I offered him a drink, and he said no. He stayed just long enough to pretend to check the door frame, then left with the same soft nod he always gave. But the air between us wasn't soft anymore. It was brittle, tight. I stood in the laundry room that night, pressing my palm to the top of the dryer where I'd leaned. It didn't echo. There was no leftover warmth, just silence. But then it happened again. 2 weeks later, he showed up to fix the wall brackets in the garage. Said the hooks for the bikes were loose. I told him I didn't care. He stayed anyway. I brought him a soda, and for the first time since that night, he looked me in the eye. Really looked. It happened inside, in the mudroom. I said I had a box he could help carry. But we didn't make it that far. He shut the door behind him, and I didn't ask why. This time was faster. Rougher. He didn't ask permission and I didn't need it. My body responded before thought had time to interfere. My forehead hit the frame of the door as he moved behind me, and I stared into the glass, watching myself become someone I didn't recognize. When it was over, he didn't say goodbye, just zipped his jeans and left. I stood there in the silence, shirt wrinkled, hands still against the wall. And I didn't feel shame. I felt nothing. That was worse. It stopped the third time. No big confrontation, no conversation. Just a fading. He came by one day to drop off a part for the kitchen sink, and everything felt cold, like a stage set left out in the rain. We barely spoke. He said something about the pantry door sticking again, and I said I'd manage. That was it. But the worst part? I still think about him. About how he looked at me like I mattered. Not like a wife. Not like a chore. Like a woman. It wasn't about passion or excitement. It was about being seen. Being chosen in a quiet room when no one else noticed you were standing there. The mug he used is still in the cabinet. I pass it sometimes when I'm reaching for the salt. I don't touch it. I just let it sit there, tilted slightly, like he meant to come back and stir what he started, but never did.